Single people, why are you single? Before we start with the first story, please hit subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. I don't know how to meet people anymore. This, and dating apps are crap. Dating apps' profit motive goes against their customers' goals, making it inherently scammy. Third places are gone and talking to strangers is now taboo. Society is radically overdue for a conversation on what courtship in the modern era is supposed to look like, where it's supposed to happen, and what is an appropriate way to engage. Churches went the way of the dodo. Bars and parks are out. The workplace is at nuclear levels of risk. Apps are toxic and predatory. Ideally, I'd like to see municipalities with federal grants organize dating events, speed dating, dances, conventions, markets, fairs. I don't know what people want or what works, not my field of study, but I do know we need something. Story 2. Too introverted to approach someone, not good looking enough to be approached by someone. Years of rejection don't help my confidence much either. Through online dating I get between 1 to 3 dates a year. Nothing usually happens. Most of the time it's just awkward and boring. Not per se the girl's fault. Myself, it's very hard to connect to someone or find them interesting. Best way is still through people you know, but unfortunately my friends don't have many single friends. I live in a small town, so slim pickings there. The loneliness gets to me sometimes and I fear of ending up alone. On other days, especially when hearing my friends have trouble with their partner, I'm grateful that I don't have to answer to anyone or even take someone in consideration. Story 3. I'm single by choice, just not my choice. Well, a lot of it, at least where I live, is an age thing. Once you're past 25 to 27, it gets much harder to meet people because you're not in college and don't go out as often. At that point, people have met their partners already, so it gets hard to find single people. COVID made things even worse. That was the deal with my brother, was single until he was 30, met his girl, dropped his entire life, and moved to another country to be with her. My friend's brother is 31 and is still single for the same reason. Another friend of mine is 33 and same thing. Some are okay with it, some not. Some just want to be with someone while others are looking for the person they should be with. Story 4. I'm not really actively trying anymore. Years of rejections doesn't do wonders for self-confidence. But I am comfortable being alone. I'm not super bothered by it, it's how it's always been for me. Same. At some point, loneliness is far better than being hurt, rejected, and dismissed entirely. I'm sure there are wonderful people out there, but I've met too many of the other people to give a shit about trying anymore. After years of rejections and negative experiences, you just start to associate dating with negativity, and it's really hard to get the confidence and enthusiasm to bother trying again. It's very hard to get motivated to put the effort in when all you can picture is bad outcomes, because all you've ever had is bad outcomes. Story 5. Being single is so peaceful. Yeah, I feel for the people who aren't single by choice and are lonely. But as someone who is single by choice, it kicks ass. We're all wired differently, and I guess some of us were just wired to prefer our own company. It can be scary to have new experiences alone because it's easier with support. Like the first time I had to travel alone, I was really nervous. But then, once I tried it, I realized how much more I preferred it. The same is true of a lot of new experiences since then. I hope those that aren't alone by choice are able to find someone that makes them happy. As for me, I'm good. The only thing I wish I could find is a local D&D group or something. Story 6. The people I'm interested in aren't interested in me. My delusional ass thinks I deserve to date an absolute 10/10ths gorgeous woman and will not settle for less. Probably stems from my first and only girlfriend being quite out of my league and having several very close friends that are very attractive women, so those are the kind of girls I'm used to being around. Problem is, I am who I am, and those women are not interested in me. I find it very hard to get emotionally attracted to someone I am not physically attracted to, so until I train myself to drop these ridiculous standards, I'm striving for I'm gonna be single forever. Story 7. I'm a woman in my 70s. I've been married twice. First marriage was awful, and I stayed single for 20 years, but my second husband was a wonderful man. I lost him 2 years ago to cancer. The cat and I are doing very well together. I'm not interested in marrying again because in my generation, the men expect to be waited on and cleaned up after and catered to. Even the really good ones, like my Lou. but they will do yard work. My house is clean, there are no wet towels on the floor, there are no dirty dishes scattered around the house, the dirty clothes are in the hamper. Anything I put down is where I left it, unless the cat pushes it to the floor, and I eat when I'm hungry instead of on a set schedule. And I have a lawn tractor for my acre of land. I have lots of women friends, and many are widows. We have a lot of fun together. Single works really well for me. Cats are easier and a lot less work than men. Story 8. I'm single because my life is really great. I'm only going to be with someone else who's happy, healthy, and healed, who's going in the same direction as me. If that means I'm single for a long time, I'm going to be busy living my really great life. Absolutely based. I'm finally feeling like I'm going in the right direction with my career, social life, family relationships, and it's getting better by the minute. I tried doing one date, and it ended up being with someone who demanded my attention 24/7 after a second date and threw a tantrum when they didn't immediately get it. Dropped them so quickly. People are way too desperate to shackle up with the first person who wants them. But having someone at my house all the time, opening on what we should be doing, rather than doing whatever I want whenever I want without reporting to anyone, would be a pain in the ass. So I will only do it if I find someone really interesting, and I don't know anyone like that who is hot enough. Story 9. I'm single because I'm focusing on personal growth and finding what truly matters to me before diving into a relationship. This is a good way to find yourself 55 and alone, still working on yourself and growing personally. If you're going to cope away the years working on things, work on independence, the ability to comfortably eat out alone, the strength to travel alone, and make a life for yourself on your own terms while surrounded by other people who have what you don't have. I'm not saying this to be mean. Every year you don't start exercising your dating skills and maneuvering through relationships, you're losing the experiential mass that others expect you to have. Being undated 0 relationships by your 30s is a red flag. That red flag gets larger and redder every year. You can work yourself into a lonely, eccentric pit. Story 10. When I was 13, I looked around and saw my mother, her sister, female cousins, all married to these lazy, worthless men who sit around watching TV, drinking, running around, whatever. I told them if I got married, it would be 50-50. They laughed and told me that it's never 50-50. Women do 80% of the work, and men get 80% of the fun. That's just how it is. So I told him I wouldn't get married then. They laughed. I kept my word. Story 11. I am 38 years old. I've been single most of my life. I battled with depression and anxiety for many years, and I am still struggling. On one hand, I am afraid of a new relationship, because in my last relationship I have been cheated, and it truly broke me. On the other hand, I am too anxious and panicked to talk to someone new, to meet new people, or just to go out and put myself out there. I want a relationship, I want a family, and I am craving affection and just someone to talk to and share my everyday life with. I lost my mother recently, after an illness, my last family member, and I am struggling a bit to put myself back together. Last couple of years were hard, but I am still here, fighting, and I still have hope that one day I'll meet that someone for me. Story 12. Because I'm working on healing the wounds I already have with therapy, DBT skills, life changes, and taking the time to truly process and work on myself and my life. I've grown, and it's no one's job but my own to deal with these pains. Connecting with someone in an emotionally intimate way right now seems rude to them and myself, because I am in no way able or willing to be the kind of partner I desire to be. I am also still rearranging my life so much that I cannot offer the kind of stability I would like in a partner. Also, unlike my abusive, rapist ex, I find it absolutely wild to date someone else while we're still in a court case about my order of protection from him. I refuse to be someone that takes out my pain from one relationship on a new one. I won't use a human and their emotions and life and time and body to comfort me and let them think we're building a future while I'm just letting them lick my wounds. Story 13. For me, it's simple: disability and poverty. 10 years ago, I was engaged to a beautiful, brilliant woman. We were both finishing our PhDs at UC Berkeley and planning our academic careers. Thinking that I had carpal tunnel, I went to the doctor. She was concerned I might have something more serious. Make a long story short, I was eventually diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. But the end of the year, my fiancé left me and my life was beginning to unravel, even though I was only having minor symptoms. I got a job and talked for years at the university level before the symptoms became too serious for me to continue. I'm now on disability, slowly losing my mobility, increasingly unable to make ends meet financially, and I still have student loans. This hasn't stopped me from dating and from meeting women. But so far, all 3 serious relationships I've been in have ended with the woman leaving, and part out of fear for finances and my health. All of my family and friends have tried to keep me in their lives, but it gets harder and harder as I can no longer visit them, and as my ability to even function, her normal level has decreased. That was a long description of a short answer. I got sick and that's why I'm single. Story 14. Both of my last serious relationships ended in me being cheated on with the people that I shouldn't worry about. One is getting married to the guy I wasn't supposed to worry about. The other wanted a poly relationship while telling me she definitely didn't want a poly relationship. She went and had a secret poly relationship with 2 other people on the back end. Lesson learned. Coincidence after coincidence that's giving you bad gut feelings shouldn't be ignored. There were times where I calmly sat each of them down to talk about my concerns, and that I'd prefer honesty so we could make a decision on how to move forward. Wasn't worth the effort. Some people will just keep lying if there's benefit for them. Been trying to rebuild my self-confidence, trust, and most importantly, setting boundaries when my body is telling me something isn't right. It's a lot of work that hasn't made me eager to jump back into the dating scene lately. Story 15. The guy I like seems really shy about feelings. We've been friends for a long time, so I'm sure it's scary for both of us to think about the dynamic changing and things possibly eventually going south. We've both been single for years. I told him in messages about my feelings. I refuse to say anything out loud in person unless he does first. It is a benchmark for me since I have always been the first to say something in relationships. I'm letting him take the lead if he wants to. I've had a crush on him for 1.5 years, and we've known each other for 15. It's been nice to let the rose-colored glasses begin to slip off my face. I used to jump headfirst into something without caution. It ended badly for me. I also am okay with staying single because I love my life and lack criticism, like I had when in a relationship. I've been with men who were narcissistic and potentially some were autistic, very stubborn, critical and/or manipulative either way. It was draining, so I don't want that again. I want a light-hearted, caring and considerate love, like what I want to give. I was with someone who attempted to choke me when I was married to him and called the cops on me for trying to recover my things. And I've been in other bad relationships, so needless to say, I am very cautious. You never think someone will try to kill you whom you thought loved you. So, it's hard to trust someone enough to be in a vulnerable situation alone like that. The friend that I like is the first and probably only man that I trust wouldn't do something like that to me. That is saying a lot, because I had completely given up. I am head over heels for him, but it's totally okay if we don't become something either. It's safe to say I'm avoidant. LOL. And so is he. I think that is why our situation works the way it does. We both care a great deal about each other. I know we both know that. Alright folks, that's a wrap. If you like this, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your those in the comment below.